Have a good day, everyone. I am Shadilad. My discussion is all about Kant's deontology ethics, the duty framework, and intended learning outcomes, articulate the duty ethical framework, differentiate what is legally right from what is morally right. So, under my discussion, we have Kant's deontology ethics, the duty framework, Kant's theory of right, legally and morally right, goodwill, categorical imperative, and oath implies can. Kant's deontological ethics. Kant's ethics is now referred to as deontological. The term deontological has its root from the Greek deon, which means duty. Hence, deontological ethics focuses on duty, obligation, and rights, instead of consequences or ends. So, Kant's famous formula for discovering our ethical duty is known as the categorical imperative. The most basic form of the imperative is act only according to that maxim by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. For Kant, choosing to obey the universal moral law is the very nature of acting ethically. Now let's move on the duty framework. The duty framework focuses on the duties that obligation that we have in a given situation and consider what ethical obligation we have and what things we should never do. So next, Kant's theory of right. According to Kant, the universal principle of right is that an action is right if it can coexist with everyone's freedom in accordance with a universal law, or if, on its maxim, the freedom of choice of each can coexist with everyone's freedom in accordance with a universal law. Universal law means a maxim that can be the maxim of all. Next, we have legally and morally right. It appears that in Kant, what is legal must be at the same time moral. An action is legally right if it is at the same time in accordance with universal law, that is, in accordance with the categorical imperative. And now let's move on to goodwill. Kant says nothing can possibly be conceived in the world, or even out of it, which can be called good without qualifications except a good will. Kant's criteria or framework of what is right or wrong is goodness will. And now let us all go through the categorical imperative. Categorical imperative to serve the will as a principle. Kant has two versions of categorical imperative. The first version states, I never to act other than so that I could will that my maxim should become a universal law. If one cannot wish or want that a certain rule or maxim becomes the maxim of all, that is not right to follow it. The second version is as follows. Always treat humanity, whether in your own person or that of another, never simply as means but always at the same time as an end. So, lastly, oath implies can. This means that if and only if we can or are free to act in a certain ways, we can be commanded to do so. This is one more moral principle ascribed to Kant, derived from two passages. So that would be all. Thank you and God bless.